Hey, my name is Randy Joe, and this is Reading Rate Your Music Reviews, the series where I read Rate Your Music Reviews, like the title suggests. And today we're looking at the critically acclaimed Radiohead album, Kid A. Before we get into it, Kid A was released in 2000 and has a Rate Your Music rating of 4.21 out of 5 with 50,906 ratings at the time of reading these. It is ranked number 1 for 2000 overall and is the second highest reviewed album on Rate Your Music ever of all time. I don't necessarily agree with that, but that is where it lies currently. Genres include art rock, experimental rock, electronic, ambient, electronic, and IDM. Descriptors include cold, melancholic, atmospheric, futuristic, anxious, somber, cryptic, male vocals, abstract, introspective, serious, alienation, winter, existential, lonely, mysterious, hypnotic, surreal, dark, depressive, nocturnal, apocalyptic, rhythmic, apathetic, and ethereal. And with that all being said, let's just jump right into these reviews, shall we? Axel Gump gave this a rave review and said, without question, their best work. 1 out of 5 stars. Moldy Mold said 2 out of stars. When I'm in a pretentious mood, I give it a 3.5 to 4. Realistically, it's not that good. I love the first track, but the rest is basic ambient, which I disagree with. Who listens to National Anthem and says, yeah, this is basic ambient music? Who in their right mind would say that? There's also Idiotech, which I wouldn't describe as ambient music either, but whatever, I'll go on. Crash Hash gave this 5 stars and said, this is the greatest Radiohead album of all time. And you have like Idiotech, Children First, hell yeah, and all these transitions that was pretty wild, like Idiotech goes into Morning Bell, that was sick, I like Idiotech. Fave track. Okay, that's English. Pumpers gave this half a star and said, in my day, everyone called them a Britpop band, and a bad one. Then their fan base got a jump on the internet and their legend was born. Rubbish music that doesn't appeal to many women I know. Do you only listen to music that appeal to women you know personally? Is that like your only target demographic? Because if that's the case, you're really putting yourself in a vacuum there, and I really feel sorry for you. I really feel sorry for you. On top of that, I actually know quite a few women who like Radiohead, so honestly, I don't know, meet more women. Although I will admit this does appeal to sad boys at the end of the day. Recco gave this half a star, and he said, no, this album is boring. Radiohead is something which is so bad about music. Jesus, why does this guy sound like Radiohead busted into his house and like murdered his entire family in front of him? As if Radiohead has ruined music for him entirely. You know you could just turn it off, Recco. You know you don't have to listen to it if you don't like it. This guy gave it 2.5 stars, MGM, and they said, absolutely overrated. This album never deserved any love it got. Such a terrible release, a piss-poor attempt at making art. If you enjoy this album, then you are a bad person. But I'm loving the sound so far. Keep on rocking, Radiohead. Subscribe to Needle Drop and check out Kids See Ghost Fan 1 on Twitter. Is this a meme account? Because the whole plug at Needle Drop at the end feels really left field there. But on top of that, if you're a bad person, if you listen to this, why? A guy named DEVL, I guess Devil is what he's going for, gave this 5 stars and said, I went on a date the other month with this girl who I've been crushing on for a while. When she came into my apartment, she saw my vinyl of this propped up against my record player and said, I'm going to be honest, I don't really like Radiohead. And with complete sincerity, I looked her dead in the eye and said, yeah, me neither. She ghosted me. We've all been there. But you know what? That's just the way of the road of a Radiohead fan, bub. Music Geek 666 gave this 1 out of 5 stars and said, this is terrible. My friend told me to listen to it because it was the best album of all time. Yeah, right. Not even close. This is actually some of the worst stuff I've ever heard. It's just whiny with boring synths, sounds lazy. It's no wonder you don't hear them on the radio. Terrible, terrible album. There's an uncanny amount of reviews on here where they talk about their friends suggesting the album and then they just completely bash it publicly, by the way. I could never do that. Like, why do people have so much confidence? If my friend suggested an album to me and told me to listen to it, I'd have a tough time just bashing it directly to their face, especially this public. But hey, more power to you, and I feel bad for your friend for you just ripping on their favorite album of all time, but you know, whatever. Funny review nonetheless. Sir Peter gave this half a star and said, "How can this album be so highly rated? I'd rather stick needles in my eyes than listen to this rubbish again." Bet. I bet, Sir Peter, if you're watching this video, I want you to stick needles in your eyes to really prove that you would do it, because I don't believe you. I think you're capping on me right now, because no way in hell would anyone rather literally harm themselves than listen to a piece of music. He ends it with "Get help now before it's too late," which I redirect to you, Sir Peter. You should get help, because if you're going to be upset about a little bit of wavy air going into your ears, then I don't know what to tell you, bud. The Ocean said 3.5 stars. Unfortunately, it is rather kids' C. Sundayman said, "This has nothing to do with music or life and is anti-both." I specifically like the way he opens this up, music or life. What does that even mean? This has nothing to do with music or life. What does that have to do with then? If not those two things, what is it? Just sounds? Is that all it is? That could be argued to be music. I don't really know. Sundayman's very gatekeeping with his music here. Frank Commode gave this 2 out of 5 stars and said, "Even though as of writing I'm fair way away from leaving my teenage years, I take it as a testament to my very being and character that even as an angsty adolescent, and boy can I get myself worked up even now, I was at best mildly interested in this. Even so, this is probably the best Radiohead record, although the electronic flourishes mostly serve as distractions from Tom York's moping and not compliments to it. Worth noting that How to Disappear Completely immediately sticks out as the best track here, and possibly in their entire discography. The Eno comparisons are deserved, but... I'm sorry, let me read that. The Eno comparisons are deserved, but then again, I don't see that as being quite as complimentary as many seem to. Excuse me, we're not disrespecting Eno on this channel, are we? We're not coming onto the Randy Joe YouTube channel and disrespecting Sir Brian Eno, are we? Because I don't want to hear it. There's no tolerance for that, and quite frankly, I'm disgusted that's even in the review. I'm disgusted that's even on my phone right now. I don't even want to touch my phone, because disrespect of Brian Eno is not allowed on this channel, and I don't tolerate it. I don't want to see it in the comments. I don't want to see it anywhere, because he is a revolutionary. So we're just going to leave this comment at that, and we're going to move on, because that was vile, and Frank Commode is now banned from the channel. Mike PF gave this 1 out of 5 stars and said, "A masterpiece to the ones that suffer from insomnia. I can't ignore the fact that there are many thousands of people who think of this album as an all-time classic. I bought it as soon as it came out, and I've been listening to the CD for 15 years, trying to find out why people regard it as a masterpiece. The result? Boredom. Boring, monotonous stuff. I'm not a Radiohead hater. On the contrary, I think that The Bends and OK Computer are 2 of the best albums of all time. But Kid A? To cut a long story short, most of it is a repetitive beat that makes you yawn, almost unlistenable. Definitely overrated." You've been listening to this for 15 years? Really? And you're bored? I don't know, Mike PF. I'm not buying it, because who listens to an album for that long and then also says they hate it, but listen to it for 15 years? Okay, Mike. Whatever you say, Mike. You hate the album, Mike, but he's in denial. Orang Turji gave this, what a weird name. Orang Turji gave this 1.5 and said, "One of the most overrated albums ever. This is nowhere close to OK Computer. It is tiring and exhausting. However, still like Radiohead should always do. There were some moments that really moved me. The only really classic songs here is How to Disappear Completely. The other nice moments are Everything in Its Right Place and the beginning of motion picture soundtrack. The other tracks are messy, noisy, unorganized, and most of all, disappointing. Well, I mean, you liked some of this album, so I guess that's fair, whatever. Next review is by V-Track, and he said, Picasso was a genius, but he created some failures. He once said to her daughter, Picasso was trans rights on the channel, by the way. Look, come here. Can you see this shitty picture I'm making? It's a piece of crap, but I'll earn lots of money with it because it's mine. The bad news about Radiohead is that they are not genius. Everything in its right place, Kid A, Tree Fingers, Idiotech, Morning Bell, and Motion Picture Soundtrack are subpar songs created by abnormal or alienated minds. They can't even work as fillers. OK Computer was not okay, but this is worse. 4 out of 5 stars. 4 out of 5. You sound like you hated it. Okay. Dark Latin Bruh said, very good, but please, Tom, don't ASMR me. I enjoyed most of the album, but please, Tom was doing some nom 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 for like 30 seconds in my right ear, and that was not in its right place. I don't remember that. I wish we got more ASMR from Tom, let's be honest. Half a star by Punchline, he said, music for crybabies. He's not wrong. That's the most accurate review I've read so far, so honestly, can't even hate him. RP Executor gave this half a star and said, Tom York used a vocal manipulation to distance himself from the title's track brutal and horrible subject matter, which he could not have sung otherwise, which is a quote from something, I'm not sure what, but he puts it in quotations. And he follows it up with, this is an artist that is afraid to face his own art. If he can't own up to what he's created, if even he doesn't want to have to deal with it, why the fuck should I have to? This is why music is so deflated, so uncertain and low and hopeless. Not because it's strong enough to move you or because it's pushing your buttons in the right ways. It's because the musicians have willingly disappeared entirely from it. This is a record that no one wants to be responsible for. Buddy, it's one song. It's just a single song that it does it on. Like he only vocal manipulates one song here. It's Kid A. It's the title track. Relax. On top of that, some songs use vocal manipulation. That's a very common practice. So get off your high horse. Screenager gave this 2 stars and said, I love Pablo Honey. Okay. I'm not going to read the rest of that one. He said he loves Pablo Honey. That's all you need to know. His opinion is invalid. He said more in just 4 words than anything his entire review could possibly say. And we get the gist. We don't have to read the rest. His opinion is now void of meaning. But anyway, that pretty much does it for this video. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe if you want to follow along in the channel and also see more of the series where I read reviews from Rate Your Music. Pretty soon I will probably be doing more Radiohead albums, maybe some Beatles albums, maybe Death Grips, maybe, I don't know, something else. I don't know where this channel's going. So please hit subscribe because I will definitely continue this series. It's a lot of fun to do. Anyways, my name is Randy Joe, and thank you for watching.